welcome everybody to our July Downtown Management Forum. We are happy to have Melanie Willoughby here from the New Jersey Business Action Center, who is partnering with DEP to roll out the information for the new, I'm calling it, I know there's more, it's more than just plastics and styrofoam, but I didn't want to list it all. That would be a very long title ban. So I'll pass off to Melanie in a second, but I am remiss if I don't go through who Downtown New Jersey is for those of you who might not be familiar with us. We are a member-supported nonprofit organization. We provide education, advocacy, and recognition for all the great work that our downtowns are doing in support of downtown revitalization. We've been holding these online forums since last March. Most of them, there are videos or recordings up, as well as the PowerPoints and other resources. So if any of these past forums pique your interest, you can go on to our website, Business.NJ.com/downtown-forums to find that information. And our next forum is going to be September 17th. We're going to have the Brownfield Center at NJIT hosting and asking questions about brownfields. So that will be our next forum. We're not doing an August one because we know you're all out doing fun things, hopefully. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass it on to Melanie.
Well, thank you very, very much. Okay, and we're going to go to, okay, hold on.
There you go.
Nope, I just got to go back. Hold on. Wait a second. Sorry. Okay.
I actually find that if you just use the arrow on your keyboard, it'll take you back. Or it should.
It should. Well, actually, it's
not.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you.
I wasn't hitting it hard enough.
There you go.
Okay. Jeez. There. Okay. So it's really a pleasure to be here because I've heard so much about downtown New Jersey and all of the great work that you do. And the Business Action Center just paid our dues. So we are now officially a member of the downtown New Jersey.
And we thank you for that.
And you're very welcome. I'm very happy to be a member. So today I'm going to give you just a brief overview of what the Business Action Center is, unless everyone raises your hand and tells me that you all know who we are and I don't have to do that. I can't see. All right, so Hope, you know who we are, right?
Yep.
I know that, let's see, who else? Maggie, Karen, I think Stu knows who we are, right?
I said go for it.
All right, I'll go for it. Okay. So I'm just going to do this really briefly so that you know why we are uniquely qualified to actually be the agency that was given the responsibility for managing business compliance. And then also how downtown New Jersey and all of the companies, businesses within your bids and SIDS can take advantage of the Business Action Center. So we are within the Department of State, and we are an advocacy agency, the only one in state government that we are dedicated to actually helping businesses navigate government and helping them with getting answers to all their business questions, both in terms of government, also in terms of their own growth, financing options, and anything that they need in order to be able to be a successful business in the state. So we have 3 offices that are devoted to helping. We have the Office of Business Advocacy. This really helps with real estate site searches, companies permitting at state and municipal levels, which we do for small businesses as well as large businesses, especially if you're trying to navigate the DEP or the Department of Transportation. So I was listening to your problems with them because we have helped some towns solve some of those problems for them to get their restaurants open in their streets. So, just something for you to consider. Also, our Office of Small Business Advocacy, I think, is very germane to most of the businesses in your downtowns because we really help them navigate business registration, tax compliance, looking at financing options, certifications, and licensing requirements, and helping them with getting business and marketing plans. And our Office of Export Promotion, which a lot of people think, well, I'm not really interested in exporting, but you just never know. It's really a great way of being able to expand your business. And no matter how small you are, you might actually be able to export because you have a service or a product that a country wants. And so you just never know. You should give us a call. So we like to think of ourselves as the great connector. As any organization like Downtown New Jersey, you connect your members to the services that they need. And we can help Downtown New Jersey and any of the businesses who then will have the information they need to connect their businesses to what they need to do. So it's sort of like a great stream of access that we are able to provide. And you can really either have your business call us directly with a question if it's complex, or you could call us, we could give you the answer and you can give it to them. We have no pride of authorship. All we want to do is help the business to navigate, save them time and money. That is what's absolutely essential to us because all of my peeps are really business centric. And so they really understand what it means to be a small or large business in this state and how complex it can be to navigate government. So think of us connecting you to the Economic Development Authority or the Treasury Department, particularly if you need tax compliance certificates. That is what you need if you're going for any grant at the EDA or at the New Jersey Redevelopment Authority. You need tax compliance certificates. So many small businesses just don't understand how to get this, but we'll help you with that. Or the Department of Labor and Workforce Development. What if your employee has COVID? There are new rules as it relates to paid family leave, and that goes down to the tiniest business with one employee. And so, we can help you and guide you through that. What about the Department of Community Affairs? Yes, the Department of Community Affairs is where the biz and the SIDS, reside. And we work very closely with Sean Thompson in the department. And I think we're on speed dial with Sean. Now, the small business development centers are really important. They're regional, but we actually help fund them. So they are there and they're free and they're funded by the SBA and also by the Business Action Center to give one-on-one counseling and mentorship for a small business. And of course, the DEP, who really love to be everyone's favorite department, really, when it comes to regulation and permitting. And so that's why we'd like to have that good relationship with that department. And then, of course, working with our counties and municipalities as well, where we have good relationships. Now, the most important website I want you to remember, besides the Downtown New Jersey website, which is great, by the way, is the Business.NJ.gov, because this is a website that was set up during the pandemic. We worked with the governor's office, the innovation team, and the back, and we set this up so that it's really easy to find information about setting up a business, about registering for your certificate, for being a woman-owned business, a minority-owned business, a veteran-owned business, which helps you with getting certain contracts. But the most important thing about this is that we have a live chat feature. It's not a robot. It's people, real people, between the hours of 8 and 5, Monday through Friday, who will answer your questions, and we are so responsive. We'll either give you immediate answers, or we have a 24-hour policy. We will get back to you with an answer, because time is money, and we know that. So this is where Business.NJ.gov is where you go for answers and the live chat, plus all that you want to know about the plastic bag ban is on this website as well. So now for the main act. So why was the Business Action Center asked by the legislature, signed into law, for us to actually be the agency to do this? That's because of the fact that our whole reason for existing is to help businesses to comply with laws, help them navigate government, and that's exactly what we're doing in helping you with this new law. And the legislature gave responsibility for regulation, of course, to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, who now, between the two departments, we have a very strong partnership to try to ensure smooth implementation. And so this is actually working out, I'm happy to report. And we, even the Department of Environmental Protection has asked me to serve on the development of the regulations so that I will be there to sort of look over their shoulder about how they are doing regulations for businesses to make sure they're not extreme, as well as there'll be opportunities for downtown New Jersey and all of your members to have input into those regulations. So what's the law? So the law was signed by the governor on November 4th, and it goes into effect on May 4th of 2022. So why such a long time? Well, that's because we want to give you time to be able to figure out how to comply. So what does the new law do? Well, it totally bans single-use plastic carryout bags. There will be no more single-use plastic carryout bags given out or used by any store anywhere. However, single-use paper carryout bags will still be allowed, but not at grocery stores at or over 2,500 square feet. So when you go into ShopRite, no paper, no plastic. But if you go into, let's say, a Wawa that's under 2,500 square feet, you could still get paper. Or if you're going to go into your pharmacy, you could still get paper, or your bakery, but not in a ShopRite or any, large food store, a Target, a Walmart, because, they have the big food department. Now, this all bans also the polystyrene foam food service products, and that's even for sale. So no more those white coffee cups, right? Those are gone, and you're not even going to be able to buy them. So if you want those, you need to stock up now because they're going to be gone in New Jersey. And so this law does pertain to all retail stores, grocery stores, and food service businesses, which I will get into the definition soon. It also limits plastic straws to request only after November 4th of 2021, which means that as you're going through the McDonald's drive-through for your soda, after November 4th, you're going to have to say, and don't forget to give me a straw, unless you plan on drinking that soda without a straw. So put a little note on your dashboard, ask for a straw. Now, the new law supersedes all previous local, county, or city ordinances that pertain to single-use plastic or paper carryout bags or polystyrene foam, and that is as of May 4th of 2022. So whatever the laws are now, we're still germane until May 4th of 2022. Okay, so you all want to have time to prepare. You really need to get rid of what you have in inventory. And you also give us time to have this awareness campaign over the next 12 months so we can change people's habits. So they can start to think, how am I going to get my groceries out of the food store? Am I going to bring a suitcase? Am I going to bring the plastic bags that I stored up just for this moment? Am I going to buy reusable bags? Am I going to use a box that I'm going to bring in? What am I going to use? This is giving people time to think about that. And so that is why we also have this period of time, because the stores are going to have to order what it is they're going to use. So if they were always using plastic and now they are allowed to use paper, they're going to have to buy it. And it takes time, which is why we have a year. So under the law, what is a store? It's any grocery store, convenience store, liquor store, a pharmacy, a drugstore, or any other retail establishment. You know, think Macy's, think, a bakery, think a bodega. All of these are included. A grocery store, though, remember, is a self-service retail establishment of 2,500 square feet or more, selling household foodstuffs for off-site consumption. And so that's why it includes Target and Kmart, and boy, am I dating myself, Walmart, and a food service business. This is where it gets a little more detailed. Okay, so this is cafes, delicatessens, coffee shops. This is vending trucks, food trucks, movie theaters, businesses or institutional cafeterias, and also all those operated by our government entity, which includes the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority. All of them are included in this, in that no more plastic bags. So how do we define reusable bags? All right. So reusable bags are made of polypropylene fabric, PET nonwoven fabric. They're made of nylon, cloth, hemp, or other washable fabrics. Remember, we're talking washable. It's important. They have to have stitched handles, which is thread or ultrasonic stitching. Ultrasonic is the new innovative way that you do it. It's still stitching, but it's done ultrasonically. And a t-shirt design is acceptable where the stitching is at the top of the bag. Now, these are manufactured and designed for at least 125 reuses. You don't have to count, but has to look pretty sturdy. Here's a couple of bags. Here's a polypropylene pet bag, non-woven pet bag, non-woven t-shirt bag, woven bag. And we will, when the businesses are buying these bags, they're going to have to be sure that the vendors they talk to are compliant with state regulation. Because if they're not, and they're buying reusable bags, it's the retailer who gets fined, not the vendor you're buying from. So we need to be sure that it's really clear for businesses about what they are allowed to buy, which is why you have to be really clear with the vendor about what it is they're allowed to sell you. Now, here are the establishments and the allowable provisions. So you can see single-use plastic carryout bags are banned from being sold or provided to customers. Everybody's in that line. Now, single-use carryout bags are banned. Single-use paper carryout bags are banned from being sold or provided to customers. That's only in grocery stores at or over 2,500 square feet. Now, polystyrene foam is also banned from being sold or provided to customers. And this is unless that food is prepackaged in such a container by a manufacturer. That would be allowed. And then single-use plastic straws provided by request only as of November 4th. Why they put a separate date from the May 4th of 2022, I'll never understand why the legislature does anything, but that's what they did, just to confuse us. So November 4th is when the straws go into effect, and May 4th of 2022 is when everything else goes into effect. Now, you also, by the way, will have access to all this because it's been given to Courtney so that she can send it out to everyone so that even if they weren't participating today, that they will have this and you will be able to see this. So what are exemptions to the ban? So thank goodness for this, because this means that if you're wrapping uncooked meat, fish, or poultry, you can do that in plastic. Or bags used to package loose items like nuts and candy. Bags used to contain live animals, like, at Petco for your goldfish. Or bags to contain food sliced or prepared to order, like hot food or soup. Laundry bags, thank goodness. Bags provided by a pharmacy to carry out prescriptions. That's the only place in the pharmacy is that. Otherwise, it's paper or a reusable bag. Newspaper bags, so my newspaper doesn't get wet when they throw it into the puddle. and then any similar bag as determined by the department pursuant to rule, regulation, or guidance. I always love this part because that's up to the department. And so they could be very busy with making any other exemptions, but that's not right now that they're going to be doing any of this. It's not until after the law goes into effect and we see how it goes. And that's only because there's going to be a plastics council, which is going to be reviewing the law so that they can make those determinations. Now, exemptions from the ban on polystyrene foam food service are those disposable, long-handled foam soda spoons when required and be used for thick drinks. Think Wendy's. I always think of that, you know, little drink that they have at Wendy's, right? Hope, right? One of my favorites, I have to say. So I'm glad that spoon's going to stay. And then there are portion cups of 2 ounces or less, meat and fish trays for raw or butchered meat. Thank goodness, because that's, you know, the polystyrene is really helpful to absorb all from that food. And then any food package that's prepackaged by the manufacturer. Now, this is going to expire as of May 4th of 2024 because it gives time to try to come up with alternatives. Right now, we do not have any sustainable alternatives from the Department of Environmental Protection yet. So we're banning as of May 4th of 2022, but we have nothing to replace it with yet. We ask the department for this every day. Literally. Not yet, but they have time.
Can I ask a question there?
Absolutely.
Like, I know there's definitely, well, one, back in the day, you just wrapped it in the wax paper, the
Right.
butcher paper. It's called butcher paper for a reason. And or I know I've gotten packages that are more of a cardboard base as opposed to a styrofoam, and then
Right,
it's still wrapped
exactly.
in
Like
plastic.
McDonald's
So
used to do that.
yeah. So I
That's
don't
fine.
know. Yeah, but so I don't know why it needs to wait. It exists. DP doesn't find that to be sustainable or more sustainable than styrofoam.
Well, that's a good question. They just haven't come out with what they're going to put out as acceptable. But you're absolutely right. The cardboard was used. It just, what they found didn't keep the food hot, which is why they stopped. The polystyrene kept it hotter longer. So I think that there are those. I mean, if you go online, for instance, and you just like look up for alternatives to polystyrene, there's a lot that pops up. And there are a lot of vendors that provide it. And the difference between the plastic bag and then what the reusable bag can be and the polystyrene is that there's no definition really in the law that stipulates what the sustainable environmental alternative could be. So it's really going to be kind of up to the DEP, but I think it's going to be much broader about what it can be. But as of right now, we don't have that. So now, remember, effective November 4th, it's plastic straws only upon the request of the customer. But those single-use plastic straws that are like in juice boxes, those are still acceptable. So that's also helpful. So who's going to enforce this law and what are the penalties? Well, it's going to be the DEP, but mostly it's going to be your local health offices who are going to be doing this. And so the way that I see this happening is kind of the way things happened during COVID, when people would call the Business Action Center and want to turn people in. You know, they are not adhering to the law. And so I think that that's going to be kind of the way it's done again, is that it's not going to be that the health official is going to be, you know, wandering around the food stores as so much as the people are going to customers who, you know, are environmentally friendly, or those who are the competitors of these other stores are going to probably be the ones who make the phone call. Or if the health department is doing their, you know, their general checkup of a store, that may be where that'll add to the list of the checkup. Now the fines are pretty onerous, really. The first one you're warned, but then comes, you know, fined up to $1,000 per day for the second offense and $5,000 per day for the third and subsequent offenses. And this is expensive for little companies. And so, you know, we want to be sure through this campaign that we get to everybody so that they know that they are at risk and that they can do some very simple things to comply. And one of them, if you're small, is just get paper, right? So here is where to find information in reusable bag resources. This is our website for the Business Action Center, where you can find the frequently asked questions, an implementation timeline, a chart of the establishments that I provided, a link to the law, and the vendor clearinghouse. So let me tell you about that. So the vendor clearinghouse is something required by the law, which is a courtesy that we are providing of the environmentally sound products. So it will contain the reusable carryout bag manufacturers and distributors who choose to be on it. We can't mandate that everyone be on it, but those that are will have to sign a self-certification that what they are selling you is adhering to the law. There'll also be paper bag manufacturers and distributors, and then the sustainable food product manufacturers and distributors. So there'll be suggested alternatives to polystyrene foam, which is yet to happen. And so we're still going through a process of trying to have some focus groups. We're going to a buyer's focus group next, just to make sure that it's user-friendly. And then it'll be coming out and we'll be promoting that. But there is a space on our website right now for it. Here's our partner agencies. Of course, there's the Business Action Center, Business.NJ.gov. Then there's the DEP, where they have actually a very nice looking website. They upped their game after they saw ours. They made it a little more user-friendly. And then the New Jersey Clean Communities, which actually is responsible for developing a statewide public information campaign. And we have a campaign called Bag Up NJ. And so from there, you can download logos if you want to utilize the logo to spread it out on your website and on bags. And so we highly encourage that, but all three of us are working closely together. So here's where you can get more information, and don't forget, our live chat is always open to you, always. So you can talk Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5, or you can even call our 1-800 number. And I'm really now ready for questions.
Wonderful. So, thank you. Thank you so much, Melanie. And I know Janet's on the line too. Janet, I put the Business.NJ.gov in the chat. If you could put the other two in the chat for folks too. I was not quick enough to type them down for people, so that way they're nice and clickable for people. So I just wanted to, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say Janet Robertson is our project manager, who's been terrific and has been on top of all of this. And she just put out a little note saying paper straws are also fine. So you can use paper straws because those are recyclable.
Yes, which was on my list of questions. I'm gonna just take a second to ask my questions first, and then open it up. And this is I already know the answer, but I just want to clarify. So those horrible thick plastic bags that Target is trying to put out in Jersey City and the other towns that have banned bags are not allowed, correct?
Unless they're made of plastic.
Yeah, no, they're putting out these horrible thick plastic because they're saying they're reusable.
No, we'll see that. No, but even if they're thick, no matter what the thickness is, right. No, those are not permitted. They have to be made of these other the other materials, fabrics and all. And so no, so right now they probably want to get rid of them, and that's probably what they're doing. And so I mean, I still get plastic, at my supermarket, but they want to get rid of them. I mean, they have, thousands and thousands. So so they're going to have to get rid of it. But as of, May 4th of next year, they can't use them anymore.
Yeah. That was the workaround that they were. So in Jersey City, we have the plastic bag ban. That was their workaround because they said it was reusable because it was thick, which was worse than just giving people regular
that's
bags,
right, because it's a thicker plastic that the fish will have to eat.
So this doesn't apply to plastic containers for food service. So they can still use, so that it's just polystyrene and the bags that the food service needs to work Okay, just a plug. We should work on the plastic containers for food service at some point in the future too. So unsustainable.
Right,
And then, yeah, I guess my only these are more comments, and it's
sure.
probably for the legislature. The loose item bags too kill me. Particularly, I get it for the meat, but like fruits and vegetables, like those are things that people can either. I normally actually just put it right on the. I don't use any bag, but they do sell those reusable bags for that type of stuff. But maybe a future iteration. Does
Right.
anyone else have any questions, clarifications about, what's allowed and not, or the rollout, et cetera? Marin,
Yes,
I think
I have
I
a
saw you
question.
on mute.
Thank you. So, I know, specifically our restaurants, they've had a very, very, very tough year. I'm an environmentalist too. I had one of our restaurants, he bought the cardboard containers for the takeout food and he was
Right.
doing it, but they're more expensive. And it came to a point that they were just trying to survive, so we did go back to the foam containers. I know a lot of our restaurants, they want to comply, but they're in a very bad situation right now coming out of COVID. Are there grants or anything to help these businesses who want to go towards the compliance?
So there are no grants specifically for complying with this new law. No. However, there are grants that have been available through the EDA for business operations for COVID-related activities.
Mhm.
And this would be part of that, as well as there will be more grants coming because of the American Rescue Plan. So this is probably where we might be able to help restaurants and other businesses with trying to pay for this, because this is part of their operating costs. But that's the only way that there will be grants is from the American Rescue Plan, which have not been rolled out yet, but will be. So that's the best that's going to happen.
I know our town has not determined on how that they're going to roll out, the $10 million.
Yeah.
I know it's very hard to talk to a business and say, you guys have to do this when they've been using the grants to pay for their rent,
Right.
to pay for their chef. I know it's good for the environment. I know that this is good. It's just very hard when it comes to a business. Sometimes when you got to cut costs, you go for the less expensive, bags for carryout. It's a very hard situation. It really is for these guys.
So I completely understand, because this was actually sort of signed into law and went through the legislature before the pandemic.
Right. I'm sure it did.
and so, but there wasn't any consideration of companies with the high cost, which we know the plastic is less expensive. The reusable bags are expensive. And a lot of small retailers are not going to be buying reusable bags and then offering them for sale, because they know their customers aren't going to buy them. So they'll go to paper. But paper is more expensive than plastic. We're going to have to become creative. I know cardboard is more expensive. Don't you remember a time, and I do remember this, before they had all that, where when you would have carry out, they would sort of put your food in aluminum foil and make it into the shape of a swan or something. They would make it look nice, right? But they would put it in aluminum foil. So that's how you carried it out. I guess I'm that old that I remember the aluminum.
No, I remember. So I like to think we're not old.
So I'm thinking aluminum foil. That may be what we have to do, is aluminum foil. I don't know. We're just going to have to get creative to try to cut those costs.
About the funding, not to put her on the spot, but we do have Maggie Peters from EDA on the line. And I did put in the chat, I realized I had a really long link and I sent a second one. So the Main Street recovery finance program preliminary rules are out for public comment. So go ahead and click that link and you can find out all the information for those and they do want feedback from our folks. So please check it out and give them any comments on that. I don't know, Maggie, did you want to chime in or no? She's not unmuting herself. She might be doing something else and not paying attention. Any other thoughts or questions, clarifications? And by the way, if anybody's following the chat, Janet's been putting a lot of information in there.
So we're available for any questions that you have following up. And also, if any of your bids or SIDs would like us to do a program for your businesses, we're happy to come do that as well. And so, you know, we're much doing things virtually, but we will, we're happy to participate. We'll be at the League of Municipalities. We'll have a table there. We'll also be at the Association of Counties, the mayors. So we're trying to do as much outreach as possible to help.
And Janet threw in the chat, and I don't know, Janet, if you want to clarify this, that there's 20 million grants for municipalities and counties for the litter abatement, and some of that can be used for this. Can you clarify how, so could the towns buy this stuff with that grant? How could it potentially be used?
As I said in the chat, you should contact your New Jersey Clean Communities representative, which you can find the list and you can discuss it with them.
Okay, but you don't know off the top of your head.
Reusable bags fall under litter abatement. Doesn't mean that this whole 20 million, each municipality or county gets awarded a certain amount. Mm-hmm. Some part of that could potentially be used to fund reusable bags if you want to do a giveaway to seniors or people on WIC or however you wanted to use that. That's possible.
Got it.
It is it's recently funded. You can read the press release on the New Jersey Clean Communities site, newjerseyclean.org, and it will explain more about it. I'm not really an expert in it, but I just know that this is true. And Wonderful. You access it by contacting your representative for your county. And that person should be able to help you navigate this and understand how to apply and what's allowable.
Great. Wonderful. Any other questions, clarifications?
I'm just on a webinar. Can I call you?
I'm muting Hope. All right. So if there aren't, I'm going to again thank Melanie and Janet, and relay thanks to Steve, who I know did a little tech on this as well. And I will let everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Great, you too. This is not the last time you will see me, because now I see a great relationship with downtown New Jersey. So I'll be back.
Yeah, well, in sneak peek, we're doing a session at the League, and Melanie's going to be on our panel. So
that's right. Okay,
very good.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
All right.
Thanks,
everyone.
Very helpful. Thank you very much.